Okay, so I'm just gonna get into it. Nobody is live on my live yet, but let's just do it. So, for anyone who watches this later, today I'm going to be making a fragrance for my brand Vita Bella Perfumes. So this is just kind of a live, I'm gonna make it anyway. I'm making a small batch anyways. So I'm just gonna kind of walk you guys through how I do it. You guys know here on the channel, I'm pretty transparent about as much as I can, everything, I guess. I try to be transparent. So I'll even tell you the ingredients, the exact ingredients that are going into my fragrance. So technically, if you want, you can recreate it on your own. If not, you can always purchase it once it releases. Hey, we got someone. Okay, welcome. So this is going to be just a live perfumery demonstration. I've got all my 1 milliliter pipettes here. And then I've got my 5 milliliter plastic pipettes here as well. So yeah, let's just get into it. We'll see if people join. Oh, and we lost them. Oh, no, we got somebody. All right. Well, anyway, so let's just go through the ingredients here. And, obviously I have my formula up on my computer here. You can't really see. There you are. So I have the formula there, and then I'm just going to follow along. For today, I'm literally just making a batch of it. So we'll start with the first key ingredient, and you guys know this is such an important perfumery ingredient. It's called ISO-E Super. It's in pretty much every fragrance you've ever smelled. So ISO-E Super, some fragrances that you'll definitely have smelled it in and can recognize it in would be something like Terre d'Hermes, right? That's like at least 50% of the formula is going to be ISO-E Super. But yeah, it just smells like cedar wood. So it's a really great, smooth cedar wood. Hey, Kelly with a Y. Hey, I've been seeing you in the comments a lot lately. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so I'm just doing a perfumery demo. But yeah, feel free to watch, follow along. Anyway, so yeah, so I have my kind of my bigger, 500 milliliter beaker here. And so I'm just going to tear that out and we'll tear everything and then we'll just get into it. Yeah. But yeah, everybody, welcome, welcome. Okay, and then we'll change our units. We're going to be doing grams always, always. Anyway, so yeah, let's start with this ISO-E Super for this specific recipe. I'm going to be using actually a lot. I'm going to be using 30 grams of ISO-E Super. So we just drop it in. For these first couple, we don't have to be super careful because this is nowhere near. That's like 4 grams. You know what I mean? So yeah, welcome. If you're new to perfumery, no problem. This is just kind of a fun intro into it. This is actually a pretty simple recipe. This fragrance is going to end up smelling like a smooth, sweet cedarwood, kind of mixed with my little special secret ingredient that I'm using, not so secret. It's called Filbertone, and it smells like hazelnuts. So it's going to end up smelling like a nice kind of vanilla hazelnut creamer sort of a smell. And it's going to be a unisex fragrance that eventually I'll release. But yeah, technically, I'm giving you guys the recipe here for free. So if you ever want to recreate it, you can. If you don't want to buy it from my site. So yeah, so we're just getting 30 grams into our beaker here. It's about 16 grams so far. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, we got 14 people in here now. Nice. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so it's a Saturday. I was like, hey, I need to make this stuff anyway, so I'll go live. I'll show you guys how it's done. For these larger amounts, I am going to be using a 5 milliliter plastic, these pipettes. If you want, you can get the glass ones, but between you and me, it's kind of more of a pain in the butt having them fully cleaning them and then reusing them and everything like that. So I am one of those guys, I use the ones that you toss afterwards. So, take it or leave it there. Yeah, a lot of more people are joining. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, so this fragrance is going to end up smelling like a hazelnut creamer kind of a smell. It's pretty darn strong because it is going to be an eau de parfum concentration. which is going to be, between 15 and 20% of the perfume oil, and then the rest is going to be alcohol, right? Ethanol. We were talking about this in the comments the other day. Remember, guys, if you're trying to get into perfumery or you're thinking about it, oh, maybe I want to make my own fragrance. Make sure when you buy the ethanol, the alcohol, you can't just buy anything, right? You can't just buy, obviously you can't buy isopropyl alcohol or rubbing alcohol. You know what I mean? You have to buy perfumer's grade alcohol, and there's a special name for it, but I can share links with you guys at some point. But yeah, look up perfumer's alcohol, because specifically it is going to be different from other denatured alcohols. So it's not the drinking kind. It'll have something like Bitrex, some sort of a nasty, nasty chemical that makes it so you can't even drink it even if you wanted to. Okay, so we're getting close here. This is almost 30 grams here. So again, a lot of this isoe super, a lot of this cedarwood smelling stuff. Now just go drop at a time. I don't want to go over here. We're trying to follow this recipe to a T. Okay, so there's that. There's that isoe. As you can see, I have a huge container of it because, dude, I use this stuff so much. It's crazy. Hey, welcome. Yeah, we got some more joiners. How's it going? So we're going to go on to our second ingredient in this recipe. And part of the idea here is if we want something that can be, masculine and feminine, and we want a fragrance that's going to have a bit of lift to it, we got to be using hedione, right? Technically, hedione smells like jasmine, but it doesn't smell like a whole lot. Mainly, it's going to be a blending molecule and a boosting molecule. Kind of like isoe super. It's a really good blender. So back in the day, they used to use bergamot essential oil. That was the main blender, but we don't have to do that anymore, guys. We have technology. So 13 grams of this hedione. I'm going to use a lot. And hedione is going to be something that's in pretty much every fragrance you've ever smelled, in a certain amount of it, So it's just one of those things. Okay, so we're going to fill it up until it weighs 43 grams now. Oh, like the stream, people. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, thank you. May I know what you're doing? Yeah, hey, Prasanna. Hi. So I'm making a fragrance right now. This one is actually going to be for my brand. But, you guys can follow along, or this will post onto my channel afterward if you want to know how to make it yourself. But this fragrance is going to be unisex. It's called Hero, or Eau de Parfum, kind of like Burberry, but it's going to smell totally different. And I didn't even think about that. Now I'm realizing. But yeah, there's one called, hey, how's it going, John? Yeah, good to be back again. I know this is my second live. So anyway, yeah, this is a unisex fragrance. It's going to smell like smooth cedar wood. There's going to be vanilla in there. There's going to be a little bit of coumarin, a little bit of that tonka bean, but it's really going to have a very strong hazelnut smell to it, using this ingredient called filbertone. I actually had to get it from New Zealand, from Freighter Works, because it's pretty darn, Can you send me that? Can I use that to office? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, Tanya. Hey, how's it going? I'm not sure what you're asking about the office, but anyways, yeah. So it surrounds this recipe surrounds the filbertone, and I'm gonna try and do the demo while also talking to you guys. I know, sorry, I'm kind of trying to do two things at once here, but yeah, we fill this up until it weighs about 43. I gotta get some more hedione soon. 43 grams. There we got a little bit. Okay, that's 40. Almost there. Yeah, welcome everybody. Anybody that's new on here, welcome. We're just making a fragrance here. So yeah, this is going to be pretty sweet. So as you suspect, I'm going to be using a little bit of ethyl maltol in there, which gives it kind of that sweetness. Like Baccarat Rouge uses a lot of the ethyl maltol, so it smells like kind of a burnt sugar, but not a whole lot in this one. I don't want to go overboard with the sweetness. I don't want to push it too feminine or anything like that, or just too sweet, Perfect. Okay. I think they mean, can you wear what you are creating? Oh, to the office. Oh, thanks, Kelly. Yeah, you know what? This is going to be pretty office safe just because it's not too strong. It's pretty pleasant. There's nothing, I'm not using oud in there. I'm not using, this is going to be sort of a winter and fall fragrance. Or if you're going for nights out, maybe a date night, you want to wear something kind of sweet and sexy, a little bit more seductive. But the thing about Hero these two fragrances that I'm about to release, they're kind of a pair, Hero, Eau de Parfum, and then Villain, Extrait de Parfum. So Villain is sort of darker, it's smokier, it has birch tar in it, it has labdanum in it, it's kind of leathery, it's sort of, the villain, it's sort of a villain fragrance, right? And then it has sort of a villain arc. As it dries down, it turns into something sweeter and nicer, and turns into kind of a nice, pleasant, woodsy fragrance. But this Hero one, it's supposed to be sort of the good guy, right? Everybody loves it. It's not gonna be anything crazy. Any weirdness to it. It's gonna be mass appealing. It's sweet. It's nice. Everybody kind of likes it. And for that reason, I don't know which one I like more. Villain has a little more depth to it, I'll say. It's a little more linear. Hero is more linear. Anyway, yeah, so I shouldn't be wearing oud to the office. I mean, hey, it depends where you work. I wouldn't wear oud to the office personally. I work in healthcare. I'm a home health physical therapist, so with my patients, I'm not allowed to wear any fragrances. So I'm kind of a weekend warrior with this sort of thing. This is my like secret other life. So I can't even wear them to work. But tell me one thing in that fragrance, will girls get attracted towards me? Yeah, usually when I think of sexier fragrances, right, we can take a look at some here real quick. By the fireplace, Mesa Margiela, right? You're gonna have something that's sort of comforting and sweet, and it has some woody, masculine notes to it. Sort of a mixture between very masculine, deep woods, and then some sweetness to it. So it's a little more seductive, if that makes sense. That's kind of what I like to, and it's up to interpretation of every perfumer, right? You know what I mean? Like everybody has their style. So, hello, sir. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, beginner from Pakistan. All right, how's it going? How long have you been working on them for? Well, this fragrance I'm making a final batch, right? I've already kind of flushed out the recipe, and I'll get back to it here in a second, guys. But most of the time, if I'm going to sell something, I go through at least like 15 different iterations before you get it right, right? You want to make everything pretty perfect, and it's to say that you can get it right the very first time you make a fragrance. I mean, you can make something good, but then you choose that good one and then you perfect it, right? So, I don't really ever just make it once and call it good. I try and perfect it. So this is probably like the 12th one. Are you a perfumer? Yeah. So I'm a perfumer. I have my own brand actually. It's called Vita Bella Perfumes. But anyway, yeah, let me get back to it. So the next ingredient we're going to use is another one of those just powerhouse ingredients, right? It's called galaxolide. It is a musk, but it's a very useful musk. It blends well. It's clean. It goes in pretty much anything. It's one of the key ingredients of what's called the Grossman Accord. Sophia Grossman, she created this accord. She's a famous perfumer. This accord that consists of Isoe Super, Hedione, galaxolide, and why am I not, methyl gamma. And those four create this hug me accord. It's very soft. It's very perfumery. You walk into a cosmetic store and it just kind of smells like perfume, like general fragrance. So you use that as a scaffold, and based off of that, you can add other stuff, and it makes it smell like something you're gonna find in the store. Okay, so I'm gonna use this real quick. Hold on, guys. Let me tear this out, and then I'm gonna use this real quick. Galaxolide 6.7, and then I'll read that comment. Give me 1 second here, boss. Okay, so galaxolide 6.7 grams, and this is gonna be a 50% mixture. That's okay. I actually recommend you guys buying the 50% stuff because regular galaxolide is so dang thick. I sometimes even have to put it on my coffee machine to kind of heat it up and get it liquidy enough that it moves. So I just buy the 50% like pre-diluted stuff, or I'll dilute it myself, just because it's easier to work with. You know what I mean? May I know where you're from? Yeah, so I'm from California. I'm from the United States. I'm originally from California, so I grew up in the Bay Area. So I don't know if you know the Bay Area, but yeah, that's where I'm from. So we got the Warriors, right? We got a lot of people. 6.7. But right now I live in Portland. So that's also in the U.S. That's Oregon. Okay, there we go. Boom. Perfect. To drop more. So we got the galaxolide in there. You using your Perfume Absolute. I'm not sure what you mean by Perfume Absolute, but I do have some Absolutes actually, and I was going to talk to you guys about this. Here's a vanilla Absolute. This guy sent it to me from Indonesia, I believe. He owns this. He runs this company called Vanilla Trading. And I made a video. I'm gonna talk about these actually. It's not sponsored or anything, but I will talk about Vanilla Absolute and kind of do a fun video. You know, just making something with it. So I was considering, even in this first batch, if you buy the first batch, then you'll get a little bit of real Vanilla Absolute in there instead of just the vanilla and crystals. But yeah, have you been to Target store there? Yeah, I was actually at Target earlier today. That's so funny. Have you been to Nigeria before? No, I haven't been to Nigeria. There are some countries in Africa that I definitely want to visit, but I haven't been to Nigeria. I don't ship to India currently. The only countries that I currently ship to, and I'm sorry guys, I know it's difficult to ship to some places from the U.S. just because it's like it wouldn't even make sense with the price. Canada and the US are the only ones that I can pretty much reasonably, you know, and even the Canada ones, I gave you guys an automatic discount that applies because I don't want people to have to pay all these weird tariffs and stuff. So I'm just like, hey, I'll cover it. Just buy the thing and I'll make it get there, you know. But other than that, otherwise it's really hard to ship some of these fragrances, you know, these volatile fluids to people. But anyway, okay. So next we're going to use this Filbertone. I got this from Freighter Works from New Zealand, so it's very hard to source this stuff, and that was one of the few few companies that you can actually get it from, this Filbertone. So this is at 1% already. I have 100% stuff. This will make like so much, but I'm going to use the 1% pre-diluted stuff. How was your experience in purchasing with Target stores? Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't shop at Target a whole lot, but yeah, Target's fine. It's always fun to kind of go in and look around, find things you didn't know you needed. My girlfriend loves Target. India natural essential oils, very good quality and deeply essential oils. Nice. Yeah. I'm sure there's some good stuff coming out of there. Okay, welcome everybody who just joined. Yeah, I'm making a fragrance here. It's gonna smell like vanilla, cedar wood, hazelnut. It's gonna be kind of a nutty, sweet, very, very pleasant fragrance for fall and winter. It's gonna be unisex. Do you know a dupe brand in Europe? Yeah, there's one that's based in Spain, actually. It's called... Oh, why do I have some? There's one based in Spain. Hold on. Fragrance dupes. I got you. No, it's not Mod Fragrances. Devane, yeah, Devane Perfumes is based in Spain. It's an online Spanish company. They have some pretty decent ones. Yeah, they have a pretty good sized catalog, I will say. Okay, let's get back to it though, guys. I'm trying to do both here. So I'm gonna add this Filbertone. We're using our 1 milliliter pipette, right? These plastic 1 milliliter pipettes. You can pick these up on Amazon. It's like, you know, $8, $9 for like 300 of them. So just buy them and then you can chuck them afterward. I feel bad, you know, it's a little bit of a landfill issue there, but that's the whole scientific community. We all use these. So anyway, okay, so we'll go Filbertone. This is going to be 4.5 grams here of the 1% stuff. Oh, Abby's coming up? Okay, cool. My girlfriend's friend is coming up. They're gonna go do some little thing together downtown. Okay, so 4.5. Welcome to everyone who just joined. How are y'all doing? How are you guys doing? Okay, so I'm weighing this out. Yeah, we always go by weight. Remember, it's never by volume. It's always, always, always by weight here. So we're using a milligram scale. Try and get it as accurate as you can. For this big one, for big batches, it's okay that it's 0.00, you know, 0.01 is the accuracy. But for the smaller ones, I want it to be at least 0.001, accurate to 0.001 grams. And that's just what makes it a little bit more accurate, you know. So we're gonna keep weighing it up. Hey, Abby. Hi. So we're gonna keep weighing until it hits 4.5. Dude, I'm live streaming right now. I'm a fucking live streamer. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Dude, yeah, I have 41 fans on here. They're watching me make a fragrance. Hey, oh, you look so nice.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, look at that outfit. Dude, the jackets.
Dude, yeah. Okay, I like this, but it almost feels too big, so I left the tag on in case I had to sign that.
Yeah, just in case, in case.
Cool. Well, when I was sitting down, I was like, had like wings.
Okay, so 5, another half of a gram in here. Yeah, I'm making a batch anyway, so I've just been like live streaming them. People like it. They have a good time. They'll ask questions in the comments too, so I try to like do both at the same time. Sometimes it's a little tough because they're like, "Where are you from?" What? Someone asked me if I like going to Target. What was my purchasing experience at Target?
We had a great time.
We had a good time. Yeah, we had a good time.
Every time at Target is a good time.
Okay, so we added that. I know. Yeah. Okay, so we added that, and then the next thing that we're actually going to be adding is some of these pyrazine molecules. So this one is called 2,3-dimethylpyrazine. I think even if you're not a perfumer, you're going to like this one, okay? I know, yeah, John, this is, it's... Dude, last time I did one, somebody walked in. It was my buddy. He came over to watch the football game because it was on Sunday too. So I just like stopped. Anyway. Okay, so yeah, these pyrazine molecules, I think even if you're not a perfumer, you might be kind of interested in these. They're super, super cool. And they're pretty easy to get a hold of. So some of them, yeah, so there's this one, there's trimethylpyrazine, there's 2-acetylpyrazine. Basically, they smell like nuttiness, like the nuttiness of a nut. So, you know, one of them smells more like peanuts, right? Trimethylpyrazine smells kind of like peanuts. And then it just adds this general weird nuttiness factor to the filbertone, you know, because filbertone smells like almost the bitter portion of the hazelnut smell. It doesn't smell like the full nut. So we need something that gives it that kind of that weird nuttiness. And these are very powerful molecules. So you use them all at about 1%. So this is already diluted to 1%. And again, I mean, this smells like, it almost like peanuts, I would say is the closest nut that it's to. You know, almost smells like peanut butter. But not really. Very, very pure. You know, yeah, it sounds delicious. Exactly, Bo. Dude, these stuff, they smell so good. And it's crazy because like most of the time when we go and we buy these fragrances, we don't even know the pure ingredients until you smell it and you're like, oh my God, I've smelled that before. You know, like furaniol, right? If you've ever smelled Burberry Hero, you know it's just drenched in furaniol. It's this like almost like a burnt, but like a burnt malty caramel sort of a smell to it. It's really nice, but it also smells like when you're at the carnival and they kind of burn that sugar. They burn the cotton candy a little bit more than ethyl maltol. That's also kind of a burnt sugar. So that sort of thing, it's really interesting. So we're going to add this first pyrazine, 3.4 grams of it. And the thing is, I like to use a couple different pyrazines, and you guys might be wondering, why is he using this one if he's already using that one? They each are a little bit different from each other. You know what I mean? So if we're trying to make a fragrance that smells like a very well-rounded hazelnut, then we need a couple different pyrazines. We need a couple different nutty notes, you know, kind of smooth it out. If we only use two or we use one, you know what I mean, then it's almost like a little bit more harsh. So I want to be really well blended here, guys. You nerd, waste the man. She's waiting for you. No. That's my girlfriend. Yeah, they're going and they're gonna go do something downtown and hang out. She showed you her dress. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let me measure this out here. So we're gonna be using this 2,3-dimethylpyrazine, 3.4 grams. Okay. And these I sourced these from Perfumer's World. So these actually come with glass vials on them. So you don't have to use these 1 milliliter pipettes, which is nice, you know. It's good for the environment. They don't suck up as much fluid as the other ones do, but, you know, we're not going to sweat it here. It's not a big deal. Yeah, if you guys are looking for places, if you're trying to get into making fragrances or you're trying to just dip your toes into that sort of a thing, I would recommend either Perfumer's World. They're based in Thailand, but they ship worldwide for sometimes a better price than the local places. And then I also like to use Perfumer's Apprentice, which is based in Scotts Valley, California. So those are my two, you know, suppliers, my main suppliers for me and for my business. So yeah, I do recommend them. Okay, so bear with me, guys. Here, this does take a good amount of this pyrazine. Let me know in the comments, are there any ingredients that you're interested in? You know, what smells like this? What smells like that? Is there anything that smells like chocolate, right? Is there anything that smells like whatever? And I'll let you know. If I know of any molecules, I'll tell you. We're actually going to be using one today. It's called Choco Van. Hold on, let me add a little more. It's called Choco Van. I believe it's a Givaudan product. Yeah, it's a Givaudan product. And it kind of adds a little bit of nuttiness and chocolatiness to this whole, you know, hazelnut sort of thing. So we'll get a little bit of a chocolate nuance in this fragrance. I think you guys are gonna like it. So yeah, really excited to release this once I make this batch, and then I'll make a video on the main channel, like announcing it and just kind of giving you guys a rundown of, hey, here's when you want to wear it, and here's when you probably don't want to wear it. And I like to be honest on the channel, so I'm not going to bullshit you guys. It's probably not the best for summer, or maybe you can pull it off in spring, but it does have sort of a sweeter, you know, sweeter side to it. So, you know, it's really going to shine in fall and winter, kind of the cozy vibes, right? I'm telling you, Top Notes Fragrance, please write down all the ingredients and measurements you are using. All right. That one I can't, I mean, I'm giving you guys my recipe for free. You know, this is something I sell. So I see, I get what you're saying, you know, but I'm not going to write them down. I'm not going to give it all to you. Obviously, if you guys want to purchase this, you can. And I'm telling you how to make it verbally, but I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, I want to just give all my recipes away, just like that, you know, but I see what you're saying. You know, I appreciate that you're interested in this stuff. You're into getting, you're into perfume making. Yeah, you know, there's actually a lot of starter kits. Perfumer's Apprentice has a good starter kit. There's actually a YouTuber called Sam Macer. I'm always giving him hype where hype is due. I don't actually know the guy, but you know, we've kind of commented, you know, on each other's channels for a little while, and he has a starter kit that he makes over in the UK, and he's a great channel, better than my channel for perfumery stuff. I mostly review, right? You guys see all the hundreds of fragrances I got back there, and that's some of mine. But he does a lot of the other stuff. So yeah, the perfume making. Okay, so I'm going to add benzaldehyde next. Oh yeah, I am actually. Yeah, I was like, why am I holding that? So benzaldehyde, I'll give you guys a little rundown before I add this. Benzaldehyde is actually It's a byproduct of cyanide production, and it's found in the bitter almond, right? So as you can guess, oh, Sam Macer, Tanya. Yeah, Sam Macer. S-A-M Macer, M-A-C-E-R. He's a good guy, and he's based in the UK. He does a lot of perfumery tutorials, in depth and stuff. But anyway, and Yamena, I'll answer that in just a second here. But yeah, so benzaldehyde smells like almonds. So it smells like an almond, but it's also very important if you're trying to make a cherry note. Cherry is actually, it's an illusion, right? There's no cherry essential oil. It's an illusion. You use benzaldehyde and a couple other key ingredients, and it creates the smell of a cherry. Yeah, I'm here making perfumes. Yeah. Okay, so let me add this. And as far as where I get my materials, this one is from the Perfumer's Apprentice. If any of you guys haven't already kind of seen that bit. But yeah, this is from Perfumer's Apprentice. We're gonna add 2.8 grams. But yeah, I would recommend either getting it from Perfumer's Apprentice if you live in the UK or in the United States, or from Perfumer's World is also good. Yeah, you know Perfumer's Apprentice? Yeah, there you go. I know, I'm gonna ignore any political comments, guys, on the channel here, but yeah, so those are the two if you live here. If you live in the UK, Pell Wall, I believe, is actually a little bit cheaper sometimes. P-E-L-L, Wall, W-A-L-L. There's also creatingperfumes.com. They're another good one to kind of look into. So 2.8. And this is very strong material as well. So it adds that almondy nuttiness that we're looking for. This fragrance, remember guys, this fragrance is going to smell like a hazelnut creamer, type of a creamy, warm, woody sort of a thing here. I'm almost there. There we go. Okay. So we need a little bit of Pell Wall gave me a little chocolate with my order, but their alcohol is strong. Oh, really? Is their alcohol no good? Their perfumer's alcohol? Yeah, you got to find a good source for your perfumer's alcohol. It's got to be good stuff, huh? I got screwed over one time, man. I'm not in the UK. I'm in Portland, Oregon, in the United States. But yeah, one time I used to source my alcohol from this one company. It was Bell Chemical for like forever. And then one day they changed what they were using to denature it, and it had this smell, the fermentation smell. Perfumer's alcohol should smell like nothing, guys. So yeah, it's like, golly. What's one of the reasons some perfumes last very long and others dupes fade after a few minutes? It's a great question. And really what it comes down to is the materials that they're using. It usually doesn't have to do with concentration. Sometimes they'll even up the concentration to kind of try and make up for it. You know what I mean? They'll say, well, it's 30%, because they know their juice is weak. So sometimes if you're cutting corners, if you're using materials that have less impact, then it's not going to last as long as the original. So it's just one of those things. What would you charge to make a custom fragrance with someone and then supply them with the formula? Yeah, I talked to a couple of companies that wanted me to make perfumes for them. It never went super far, but I don't even know what I would charge, to be honest. Because it takes a lot of back and forth, right? Because I'm gonna perfect like 5 different fragrances, right? And send them off. They're gonna check the samples. They're gonna say, hey, maybe this one, but can you add this? It's a lot of back and forth. I can see your ISO-E. Yeah, this is my ISO-E Super. That's good stuff. Yeah, good quality is important. Exactly. Yeah, good quality is important. As far as these chemicals are these chemicals, right? But you're right. For the naturals, you got to get high quality naturals. Sometimes by cutting corners, I mean, let's say you want an apple note. It's okay, Gus. I'm still here. It's my cat. Let's say you want an apple note, or let's say you want, like kind of a toasted sugar kind of a note. You could use furaniol, which is expensive. I like to use expensive ingredients in my stuff. I don't even care. This is mostly for fun. Yeah, I make money off of it, but it's mostly for fun. But you could cut the corner and then just use something like ethyl maltol and maltol, and then maybe something else that will make it a little bit kind of in the same ballpark, right? But it's way cheaper. You know what I mean? So they'll change the ingredient that they're using, or yeah. Exactly, yeah. Cloud nine, yes, exactly, yeah. Fixatives help for longevity, but they can sometimes hurt your projection. Totally, right? Think of it like, guys, exactly what Cloud nine said. Think of it like a fixative helps fix it to your skin, right? It helps it last longer. So it's more substantive on your skin. It stays there. But hey, if it's staying on your skin, it's not going to be leaping off and projecting as much. So it's sort of there's always a give and take when you do these fixative things, and most of them will have a bit of a smell to themselves. If you want something that's a fixative that doesn't have a smell at all, I would look into something called glucom P20. So glucom P20 is something that the perfumery industry uses to kind of have a neutral fixative, but they don't use a whole lot of it. Luzipaba is super yeah, hedione and broxane, yeah, not long lasting. I want to have a strong smell for hours, so I think dupes are no option for you. Well, it depends on the dupes, man. Because some brands here, I'm going to continue with the thing here. We'll get back into it, but some brands, they make good, long lasting. It just depends on the materials that are in it, right? Latafa Camra, that's what I'm wearing today. That's the scent of the day that I'm wearing today is Latafa Camra. It's a dupe. It's a total dupe of Killian Angel Share. Well, it's similar. There's some differences, but it lasts long. It projects well. It has great performance. Latafa is a pretty solid brand, so you can find them. I would stay strong. Keep looking. Maybe you'll find something you like. Anyway, okay. So next ingredient, we're gonna go into this Chocovan that I told you guys about. So Chocovan in TEC, triethyl citrate, Givaudan product here. So Givaudan is one of the main companies that's going to be making all of these perfumery ingredients, right? They're based in Switzerland. So there's Givaudan, there's IFF, International Flavors and Fragrances. There's Symrise, right? There's a couple of these big major companies that are making all the ingredients that are in every fragrance you've ever smelled, right? And it's coming from like the big five. There's like 5 companies or so. You know what I mean? Okay, so yeah, this Chocovan, it's very nice and nutty and smooth and just it has like a round smell to it. It's very round, well-rounded. I just know that this is going to add a nice blend to it. It's chocolatey, but it's also nutty, but it's also woody, right? And that's exactly what I wanted in this fragrance, right? So we're going to be adding 2.6 grams of this Chocovan, kind of a good amount, right? So yeah, 2.6 grams. Let's add that in. That's 1.04. So I got to be careful on the second one. Be nice and slow here. We don't want to over add stuff, right? You can't take out any, right? You can always add more. So just got to be careful here. Okay, we got a little more. And I got to order more, so I got to put that on my little shopping list. 2.6. Welcome to everybody who just joined. Givaudan is awesome brand. Yeah, seriously, they make so many good ingredients that I use all the time, right? There we go. Okay. So yeah, 2.67. Okay, and then we're going to be adding another cool ingredient here. This is called methyl cyclopentenolone, right? This is almost it's the almost the burnt side of maple syrup, right? So if you want to make a maple syrup accord, then you have to use methyl cyclopentenolone. In small amounts, if you use it correctly, it can add sort of nuttiness or toasted, kind of the concept of a toasted smell to something. So it doesn't have to smell straight up like syrup. If you add too much, I would bomb this thing out with syrup. So I'm using it at 1%, but just a key amount. And this is where experience kind of comes in, guys. This will come with time, and maybe you guys have more experience than me. Who knows? But yeah, over time you'll come to realize sometimes this methyl cyclopentenolone can be used to give the illusion of like like a more of a toasted smell, right? Like bready, almost like toasted bread, or almost, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, cool ingredients. Vetiver, yeah, vetiver is great, totally. I get my vetiver from Haiti, but I know that there's some other great places you can get vetiver from, for sure. Do you teach perfumery? How can I join your class? I've been working. I've been telling everyone on my channel that I'll get my course going for so long, and I feel bad. I still haven't done it. So as of right now, I do not have a course. Sam Macer has a course. I'm pretty sure there's some other people out there, but if you want to learn perfumery, you want to do it the way I did it, where you don't have to go to a school. It's probably the harder way. It's the way I did it, but yeah, ethyl vanillin is great, huh? Oh my gosh, so nice and sweet and powerful. Um, but yeah, the best way I would say, if you don't want to straight up go to like the Grass Institute in France or something like that, is find good YouTube channels like Sam Macer, like BK Sense. Find the Base Notes forums, right? Base Notes is a great. You can look through, scour the old Base Notes, the forums, and find information there, because people have always asked these questions, and they'll ask them again, and somebody else has probably asked whatever question you have. There's a subreddit called DIY Perfumery. It's sort of a toxic community sometimes, but the perfumery community can be kind of toxic sometimes. I don't know why. I try to be the nice guy on there, but sometimes people get like they're a little bit standoffish for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, there's plenty of good folks on there that will help you with things, and you can just learn from even just reading the old stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so those are good ways, and there's some good books out there. Jean-Claude Elena has a great book. There's a lot of good books out there if you want to kind of read your own stuff. If you're using pre-made oils, do you have to use heat at all? No, and you don't have to use heat. You just mix it into something that is a good solvent, like the alcohol. So yeah, you don't have to. That's a good question, but yeah, I don't use pre-made oils for the most part. So I use raw ingredients like benzaldehyde, things like that, where I'm using just kind of the raw one. What aroma chemical do you think is responsible for the cinnamon boozy smell in Latafa Camra? Such a good question. And I've thought about that before, right? Because there's stuff like rum ether, right? Rum ether. I don't think that's it. I don't think it's rum ether. Sometimes when you smell that they have that rum note, you think that it would be something so straightforward, it would make sense. But I use a lot of synthetics. Is that okay? Yeah, that's totally fine, Raheem. Most of the fragrances that you're going to smell are going to be like 80% synthetics anyways, with a little bit of naturals, maybe 90%. Anyway, what do I think? They could be a little bit of cinnamon essential oil in there, but usually that's a little less clean. So I would say it's either like methyl cinnamate, um, cinnamol, eugenol. I think it's a mixture of a lot of things, right? I don't think it's just one. Sometimes the simplest answer isn't it. So I think it's a mixture of all of those, or maybe a little bit of cinnamon essential oil, but I don't think there's a whole lot of naturals in that fragrance. The rum, or that booziness, that's something I've thought about too. I don't know, and I don't think it's rum ether. I've used rum ether. I've worked with it a lot, and it doesn't really give what you think it would give. So yeah, I don't know. How do you make molecule number 2? Okay, and then I'll tear it out, and then we'll keep going here. Homofuranone, right? So this is another one of those kind of burnt, sugary, toffee. This one almost has a subtle, like, not plasticky, but if you make it too strong, it can have a plasticky sort of vibe to it, but this is a very pleasant, burnt sort of a note. And don't worry, guys, this finished product is not going to smell burnt. Remember, I'm using these at 1%, 2%, things like that. And so in the finished fragrance, when it smells like a nice toasted hazelnut and cedar, it's these are just the subtle little twists, the little nuances that make it a little more realistic or make it a little more pleasant. You know what I mean? I don't want to just smell like a coffee creamer, right? So I want it to have a little bit more complexity to it. So we're going to use this furanone at 2%, and then it's going to be 1.4 grams. So pretty decent amount here. Okay, boom. Easy peasy, right? We're going down the list. I like to organize my list so they're going into smaller and smaller amounts. How do you make molecule number 2? I forget. That's either iso-E. Which one is molecule number 2? It's literally just alcohol, and it's either iso-E or it's going to be what you call it? Ambroxan. Yeah, it's literally just primary ingredient is ambroxan. Some people are saying that it has more than just ambroxan, but that's the main ingredients. It's literally just ambroxan. Some people are saying that there's a little bit of javanol and cashmeran and vetiver acetate in there. Vetiver acetate is like vetiver, but a little cleaner. So it's not the full natural. It's the main thing that makes vetiver smell vetivery. Right? And then javanol is a synthetic sandalwood note. Do you use ambroxanide? You know what? I don't use, so I use the regular old ambroxan product. That's a great question, right? I don't use ambroxanide, if that's what you're talking about. I also don't use ambroxide. I use ambroxan. So there's a couple different ones. There's a couple different, and I'll have to remind myself of ambroxan versus ambroxide versus ambroxanide is very strong. Ambrofix, right? Ambroxide is the generic term. Ambroxan is the brand name, and then Cetalox is slightly different. And then there's another one called Orchanox. So there's a lot of different ones. And then ambroxanide with a C. That's that strong woody one that he was just talking about. Yeah, captive. Yeah, it's like a captive ICOE. Okay. Yeah. But I don't use that. But you can buy ambroxanide. Some of those are really expensive. There's one that I really want to use, and it's very powerful, but it's pretty expensive. I recently just bought some of it. I'm forgetting. I don't know why I'm forgetting right now. Anyway, okay, so let's get back to this though. Hold on. Okay, so we added the homofuranone. Now we'll add the trimethylpyrazine, right? Trimethylpyrazine at 1%. Again, this is the most nutty, the most peanutty, I would say. Peanutty, meaty, very, very strangely, it just smells like nuts. It's crazy. You're a perfumer from India, Mohammed. Hey, welcome, brother. Yeah, from India, awesome. Yeah, a lot of great perfumes coming out of there. You make your own stuff, huh? Heck yeah. Okay, so let me add this trimethylpyrazine here. We're gonna add 1.7 grams, and this is at 1%. How long you been doing perfumes? How long have you been making fragrances for? 1.7. Let's see. What is the best alcohol to use for mixing pre-made oils? I'll show you. I'll show you the exact one I use. Okay, 1 point. Gotta be careful. We can't add too much. Okay. Welcome to anyone who just joined, right? We're making a unisex fragrance called Hero Eau de Parfum. Habibi Cat, hey, how's it going? 5 years, nice. Yeah, so you've been doing it for a while, huh? Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Yeah, Andy, here I'm gonna show you. So, I can just show you. Hold on, I'll just show you. So yeah, basically Perfumer's alcohol has kind of a code name. Like the code for it is called SD. What is it? SDA 40B. So SDA 40B, I was going to pull it up here, but I get my SDA 40B from Sun Pure Botanicals. And you can actually order this on eBay. So this is a gallon size. Yep, exactly, the 40B. So look for that, because you don't want to get anything else that will have some sort of a fermentation smell. Otherwise, it's going to totally ruin whatever you use, and you wouldn't even want to like spray it on yourself because it'll have a little bit of that fermentation smell in it, and it sucks. So I had I used to buy from a different supplier for a while, and they were great. And then one day, boom, they changed it, and then there wasn't that the SDA 40B anymore, and it had that fermentation smell, and it sucked. Using Everclear, I haven't personally done it. I would recommend just getting some of the other stuff. You probably could, if you were in a pinch, you could use Everclear because it is pretty much pure alcohol. I don't know how much of a fermentation smell you're going to get from it though. You might get some because it's like a grain alcohol, right? That's like pure grain alcohol. I think you gotta do the real stuff, the 40B. You know what I mean? But it's a good question. I've thought about that too. You know what I mean? It's like when I first started, I was gonna get into using that stuff, and it's like, nah, I'll just do the real perfumer's alcohol. You can find it pretty good prices, depending where you look. But yeah, Sun Pure Botanicals has pretty good stuff. So and you can order on eBay. Pretty easy, guys. Okay, so we added the trimethylpyrazine. Now we need the 2-acetylpyrazine. Slightly different, right? It's same but different, but still same, right? So again, it has sort of this is less meaty. This is more of that nuttiness, general nuttiness. But it's not the same as the other pyrazines, right? So we're kind of getting a well-rounded nutty note here. So 1.7. So let's add a bunch of this. Boom. Boom. Where's everybody from? I know we got India here. We got Pakistan. What do we got? Anybody else from the US? 1.7. What are your thoughts about Vertifix and ISO-E Super? I have Vertifix. I just use ISO-E. Yeah, I just use ISO-E. Hold on. I don't use Vertifix a whole lot. I use ISO-E all the time though. Okay, 1.7. Hold on. Okay, boom. Ohio, nice. Okay, we're out in Ohio. Montreal, yeah, Canadian, nice. Okay, and then we got somebody from Michigan. Are you a Youper? Are you from up there? Or are you from on the mitten? I got family. Well, now they're in Wisconsin, so I got family over in Wisconsin. Anyway, awesome. So we got people from a little bit everywhere, huh? Need your opinion, please. Best perfume to make. I mean, the best perfume to make is the one that you like, right? It depends on what the purpose is. Anytime I make a fragrance, I try and think of like why I'm trying to make it. Is it a gift for my girlfriend, right? Is it a gift for my mother? I made her a lot of them. She really likes her fragrances. Or who's it for? Is it to sell, right? Who is the intended audience, right? And they go real deep in the perfume industry. They'll even go between like the Asian industry versus the United States industry. They have different preferences. It's really wild. Apparently, in the U.S. we prefer a red rose, and then in like Japan they prefer a pink rose, because it's softer. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, there's different, and they do tons of studies. Because it's like $1 billion industry. So they figure out exactly what the preferences of each population are. But I would just think about who's the fragrance for, and then kind of go from there. What notes do I want to have in it? And then okay, how am I going to do it? South Florida, nice, yeah. I went to USF, dude. That's where I did my doctorate in physical therapy. So yeah, I got my DPT at USF. So I was a bull. Yeah. We're living in Tampa for a little bit, and then me and my girlfriend, we lived in the Panhandle because I was working at Fort Walton Beach Medical Center for a little bit. Here, I'll continue, guys. I'll continue. Yeah, okay, so then now we got to use the furaniol. Oh yeah, 1.5 grams. Okay. But yeah, so I was living in the Panhandle for a little bit up near Fort Walton Beach area. And then, dude, I was living in Ormond Beach near like Daytona Beach, just north of Daytona Beach. So sweet. We do miss it, this time of year, but fall in the PNW is nice too. Um, where are you at in Florida? Where is that? You said South Florida? You must mean really south, huh? Because USF is in Tampa. It's like not even, I don't know why they call it South Florida. University of South Florida. Yeah, this furaniol, very burnt sugar vibes here. Very nice. So we're going to do 1.5 grams, which is a good amount. This is powerful stuff, guys. This is also important when you're making a maple syrup accord here, right? It has sort of that sugary sweetness, that burntness. It's not just sweet. It's like that sticky residue that you have on the cotton candy machines, or the popcorn machines when you go to the fair, right? And they have that, and it has that smell. Furaniol, very powerful ingredient. So this, as you can see, I'm using mostly 1% stuff here, but this is actually going to end up being a pretty strong fragrance. Let me know when you're done retreating Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. Recreating, yeah, okay, I know, right? Yeah, gotta hydrate somehow, huh? Yeah, the bathwater, yeah, or Gamer Girl Pee, right? I'll release Gamer Girl bathwater. That odd smell we like, totally, yeah. Yeah, that odd smell, dude. The one that I like that is just I like when they add like fertilizer or like wood chips, like old wood chips, onto the like business areas, lawns and stuff like that. They add like mulch, and it has that like stink to the mulch. I love that smell. Coral Springs. Oh yeah. Where's that? That must be. That's not, oh, I'm thinking of Coral Gables Springs. Yeah, what's your weird smell? Tell me, guys, be honest here. What's your weird smell that you like the smell of? No shame here, no shame here. Let me know. What happens in the chat stays in the chat. But I love that stink of the mulch, bro. From where do you get your raw materials? So I get my raw materials mostly from the Perfumer's Apprentice. It's located in California, so it is in the U.S. It's fast shipping. They've always been very straightforward, and they don't skimp you on anything. And then I also get stuff from Perfumer's World. So Perfumer's World is based in Thailand, but they'll ship pretty darn quickly, and they actually have really good prices, sometimes better than Perfumer's Apprentice, even after shipping. And you can buy by the gram. So yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Near Pompano Beach. Yeah, kind of near Miami. Yeah, hell yeah. Dude, it's crazy. The 3 years that we lived there, we never went to Miami. I've been, but not while we were there. While I was going to grad school. Anyway, let's get back to it here. So we added the furaniol, right? Now we just have 3 more ingredients, and then we got to dilute, right? Do you know how they make Christian Clive Blonde Amber smell so luxurious? Dude, it's crazy you mentioned Clive Christian Blonde Amber. I've been seeing that. I'm going to buy a sample. I'm going to get a sample because that fragrance has been teasing me for like years. I've been wanting to smell it. I've never smelled it before. I don't know what it smells like. I know it scores very well. I know people are obsessed with it or they don't like it at all. And it's very expensive. So I'm going to get a sample and I'll let you know. I don't know. Have you ever looked at the Cocked the Good Sense Company? Yeah, TGSC, yeah, the Good Sense Company, 100%. Yeah, they so many good demo formulas, right? Dude, I love the Good Sense. Yeah. Hairline check. I'm still going strong, man. Come on, look at that. No, dude, I'm chilling. Look, I'm chilling. This is a mature hairline. This is mature. This isn't. I'm not losing. Oh. Damn, now I'm gonna be looking. No, I think I've still got it. Anyway, okay. Let's get back to it. Yeah, so we added furaniol. Next one, coumarin. great, great. Do you make your own impressions? I'll tell you in a second. Coumarin, great ingredient, very important ingredient. It's not going to be utilized a ton in here, but it's powerful, so I'm using it at 100%. This is a crystalline powder, and this was originally, and it is still, it's a synthetic, so it's an isolate that they get from the tonka bean. But it smells like tonka beans. I'm sure they found some way to make it chemically like on their own, but dude, if you see tonka bean, they're using coumarin. That's all it is, and it's a great ingredient. So I'm going to be using coumarin. We're going to use 0.310, 0.31. So we got to be real careful here. I'm going to use this to just kind of dole it out here, but we got to be careful here, guys. 0.31. Boom. Okay, and that's it. Okay, do I make my own dupes? So I've made a couple of dupes on my own. I'm going to release a video. I did a video on, what was it? How to clone. I forget, but I have one for Nautica Voyage. I'll film that. I filmed a while ago, I filmed one how to clone Creed Aventus. And this is from formulas that I either found online, just scoured the internet and put together kind of my own best formula of those formulas. And I tried and tried them out and made it, the best that I think it would be. And so, yeah, so I have one. It's pretty darn close. It's actually using higher quality materials, I would say, because it's not, made in mass and everything like that. And you can choose where you're getting all of your naturals from. So it almost smells like OG Aventus, like more natty Aventus, or just, yeah, like a high quality Aventus. So I'll release that video soon. I keep forgetting to do it. It's such a long video that I'm not going to send it to my editor because that would just be a pain. But do I make my own impressions? So yeah, so I've made my own clones before, and I've made some similar ones for sure. But I'm actually working on getting a dupe company going. So I have my Vita Bella perfumes, right? But I'm also working on, a clone brand as well. And it's been a long process, man. It's been crazy going back and forth with different factory reps and figuring out ways to get the bottles made, get this made, get it filled, get the custom packaging and everything like that. But yeah, once I release it, I'll make a video and I'll talk to you guys about them. It's the hardest part was choosing the best quality dupes and the best quality like oils and company that makes the oils, right? Because I'm not producing them myself, but there's a lot out there that are not that good, right? So you have to pick and choose and find the best one for each one. And there were a lot of clones where I was like, a lot of fragrances that I wanted to release a clone for that I just haven't, because I couldn't find a good one. And I want this brand to be the best. Like I want it to be, boom, okay, there isn't already a great one for this, use my brand. You know what I mean? So I don't want to have any garbage ones. I want you guys to trust it and be like, okay, well, this one hardly ever misses. Like I want to be the Latafa, that kind of a thing, where it's like, okay, well, if he releases it, it's got to be pretty solid. So then you feel good buying, whatever new one I do. But anyway, dude, it's such a process. It's crazy. And then worrying about tariffs and stuff like that. It's like, holy moly. But yeah, hopefully soon that should be well underway. You don't like Creed Aventus? No way, man. Yeah, Creed Aventus, I mean, I think it's good, but I think that there are better fragrances. So I'm with you, Raheem. It's one of those things, right? I've got a full bottle right here. I got a big old bottle. But at the same time, how often am I wearing Creed Aventus versus even something else by Creed like Green Irish Tweed? I'm a Green Irish Tweed guy. So I totally get it. I like it. It's known to be one of the best, but at the same time, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I get it. Okay, next, vanillin. So vanillin, another crystalline powder, right? This is going to look a lot more like freaking Coke I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Never mind. But anyway, it's gonna it's gonna look like a powder, like a white powder. Yeah, it's gonna look like a white powder, and hopefully YouTube doesn't remove that. But yeah, so we're gonna use 0.28 grams of it. And the same thing, you can use a little scooper. You can even cut, one of the hacks is you can cut this at like an angle so it creates a little shovel. But you know, for these purposes, I'm just gonna kind of get this out here. And it looks like powdered sugar, kind of. It just looks like a sort of a powdered sugar look. So vanillin, there's also ethyl vanillin, right? Ethyl vanillin is a little bit stronger and a little sweeter. 0.28. This I'm not as worried about it being super sweet or super powerful. I don't want it to take over, right? So that's one of those things. To me, Aventus smells like lemon, pledge, and dirt. Hey, I totally know what you mean. Yeah, it has that lemony, you know, yes, because of some of the citruses that they use. It's like, dude, yeah, I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. And then the dihydromercenol that's in it, you know, right? It's just like, may or may not be in it. Anyway, I get it. I personally like it, but, you know. Okay, 0.015 of the ethyl maltol. So this is not going to be very much here. We're going to have to be very careful with this ethyl maltol. Again, this is a burnt sugar smell. This one looks more like granulated sugar. It's another crystalline, but it's not like a powder. It's not a fine powder here. This is like a granulated. There we go. Yeah, so barely any of that. This is kind of what it looks like. I don't know if you can see. You can't really see that. What's your craziest perfume compliment from a stranger? The best ones are the ones when I'm wearing my own fragrances and people say, hey, I really like that. What is that? And they don't know me, and that's cool, because then it feels good. The craziest one, well, this isn't a perfume compliment, but when I was a kid, for some reason, kids called me like Smelly Sebastian, and I think it was because I like just didn't wear deodorant yet or something. I don't know. Maybe that's why I got obsessed with fragrances. Maybe that's like the psychology behind why I'm into this. I don't know, but yeah. So that was a weird nickname I got, but now I smell great. So whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any other ones. Have you ever make a elixir? Elixir, do you mean like an extrait de parfum? Because I've made extrait de parfums. Most of the time I like to do EDPs just because that's kind of the strength that I like, EDT to EDP, but I've done some extrait de parfums. If I had leftover oil gifted to me from a friend who died, could you reproduce it? Well, Martin, it would be very difficult. The best way, if you really want it reproduced, is you send it off to have what's called a GCMS report done. I can try to smell it and think about it, but it's probably not going to smell anything, you know, it's not going to be similar. It'll be similar, but it won't be the same. Usually you have to use what's called gas chromatography and mass spectroscopy to see which ingredients and how much, like what mass of each one is in the thing that you put into the tube. So when I was working in the quant lab at OSU, you know, we would use either hexane or something like that as a buffer, and then we put in some sort of fluid, whatever we want, you know, this oil or whatever, and then you put in another on the other side, and you just shoot it through this bajillion-dollar machine, and it reads it out for you, and it'll tell you, and you have to kind of know already what each fragrance ingredient. Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, it's very expensive. So most of the time when people are going in on a GCMS, like they want to know how did they make Camera, you know, how did they make the new Blue de Chanel or whatever, right? How did they make Aventus? Bunch of people go in on buying a GCMS report. They send it in and they pay like $1,000 and then it spits it out, right? Or you're a fragrance clone company, you're trying to clone something, you send it off, you get the GCMS, you come back, and it doesn't give you everything, but it gives you a ballpark, and you can kind of figure out, you know, piece it together and figure out, okay, well, maybe this came from this, and maybe this is this, and then you put it together. So it's hard. It's not easy. This stuff is not easy. So here's the ethyl maltol. Boom, we did it. Okay, so we did it, guys. Diluted now, it's going to weigh, we want it to weigh about 359 grams, and it currently weighs about 71 grams. So 359 minus 71, 288 grams. So we're going to add 288 grams of alcohol. Yeah, no problem. I'm sorry, Martin, that I wasn't of more help. I wish I could just like do it that well. I'm unfortunately I'm not that good. Yeah, that would be very impressive. There are some dudes, I don't know if you've seen those videos where they can like just do it. It's crazy. That one guy in India, I think, and you just bring in something, he smells it, and then he just like recreates it. That's crazy. So now I'm gonna add ethanol. I'm gonna add my, my SDA 40B alcohol here to it. Have you ever heard of a aquatic perfume that has like peppercorn, leather, and tobacco? I don't know, man. That's a little tricky because, right, if you're gonna have a leather fragrance and tobacco, that in itself doesn't sound like an aquatic fragrance, right? So it's like a double negative, like that doesn't compute. Maybe there's a way that you can make something that's aquatic, but also, yeah. I don't know. Oh yeah, the guy in Dubai. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Oh heck yeah. Yeah, I hope you enjoy. If you guys do end up buying anything from the brand, I would really, really recommend getting the sample kit, because then you get the sample of each fragrance, and you get to choose which one you like, and then you redeem it for a full bottle of whichever one you like the most. You know what I mean? That way you're not just blind buying, right? Because who knows? Maybe it doesn't vibe with you, and that's okay. So that way at least you get to try them all and say, hey, I like that one the most. It's only like $5 more to get the sample kit. And then you just redeem it for a full bottle of whichever one you're like, oh yeah, heck yeah, I like that one the most. Yeah, it would be a good challenge. Seriously, making fragrance like that would be a great challenge. Because there's got to be a way. I mean, you could, I guess it's about balance, right? Maybe if you used a lot of the aquatic ingredients like cologne and stuff like that, and DHM and stuff like that, and then you added, tobacco absolute or whatever, Kephalis, right? That's one of the artificial tobacco ingredients, right? Something like that. Maybe you could make it aquatic but also tobacco. I don't know. Okay, so 359 yeah, here we go. Okay, wait. Yeah, just a little bit more actually, is what I mean. Hold on. I wasn't looking there for a second. Yeah, there we go. All right. Scared me, holy shit. But yeah, any suggestions on a clean, cotton, musky, masculine smell? Discontinued Armani Mania. I don't know Armani Mania, but you know what is a really great kind of musky, but also sort of peppery, pink peppercorn kind of a smell. And it's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap, dude. If you haven't smelled Burberry Touch for men, I was blown away. It is gentle. It is sophisticated. It is such a great fragrance. And it's peppery. It's spicy a little bit, but it's just very like, it's high class. It's high class. I don't know. It's really good. I would recommend that one. There's also a musky fragrance by Lattafa. Hold on, I'll pull it up here. It's called Pure Musk. By Lattafa, and it's very clean. It's a nice white musky fragrance. But yeah, if I'm able to start making colognes, would you be okay if I sent you bottles for you to give honest feedback? Yeah. Send them over, man. Yeah, a lot of companies, they'll send me their fragrances, and I'll either say I like them or I'll say I don't like them, or that kind of a thing. But yeah. As long as you're okay with me being honest. Sometimes I roast them, but most of the time I like the fragrances I smell. Okay, hold on. 71. Boom. Just making sure that's good. Yep. Okay, perfect. So now what we'll do is I have this magnetic stir. I don't know if you guys can see that. Boom. So I'm going to put this on my magnetic stirring machine, and these are like, they're like 15 bucks on Amazon. You don't need one if you're just making small stuff, but since I have my brand, since I have Vita Bella perfumes, I kind of have to do that, you know. So now I'm gonna throw one of these in there, and this is a magnetic stirring bar. So I'm gonna throw the magnetic stirring bar, and that's how it stirs it without touching it. So, whoop, and then we're gonna turn it on. You can see everything get mixed up in there. We're gonna leave it for, I don't know, at least, you know, a couple minutes there so that it's in there. I'm more of a Tom Ford ombre leather kind of guy. Yeah. Sam Elliott in a bottle, totally. Yeah, ombre leather is so good. Do I have a bottle down here? Anyway, ombre leather. Wow, that won a lot of awards, dude. The gal who made that, the perfumer who made that, she, what is her name? She's young and up and coming, but she's made a lot of hits now. Ombre leather perfumer. Sophia Constant. Yeah, her name is Sophia Constant, dude. Yeah, honestly, man. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Raheem. Yeah, thank you for joining. How are my test fails perfume? Just down the drain. Dude, what I do when here, I'll show you. Yeah, Sophia Constant, though, she has some great work underneath her. So if you like Tom Ford Ombre Leather, check out some of her other stuff. You know, you can click on Fragrantica, you can click the perfumer and see what other work they have. So this is what I do. This is my Millefleur. As you can see, it's pretty solid now. I haven't done some mixing in a while, but every time I make something that sucks, I'll pour it in here and just add it to my Millefleur. Millefleur just means 1,000 flowers, and the perfume companies do this too, and they'll sell it. They'll sell these massive, like 80-gallon drums of this shit, and they'll sell it for really cheap to you know, dollar store or companies like that, you know, companies that will make like potpourri or just little like bathroom things and stuff like that, because it smells kind of good, but it's the messed up batches, you know what I mean? So just one of those things. But anyway, yeah, ombre leather, yeah. So that's what I do, and it just sort of smells nice. Oh, you can see my paintings here. I do oil paintings. There's my lemon. Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of what I do. So here we're mixing it up, and as you can see, I usually make about 500 milliliters ish. This one, yeah, right around 500 milliliters. There's this little tornado in here, so it's going to be more like 400 to 450. But that's okay. So that'll make a good amount of bottles. My bottles are 50 milliliter size, so you know, and everything else is ready to go. Like all the labels are ready to go. I hand bottle everything myself. So soon I'm going to bottle some, get it ready for the video, and then I'll announce it for you guys. Are there any sites you'd recommend for buying the oils and musks? Yeah, so what I was telling people earlier, I know maybe you just joined, but if you're in the United States, what I would recommend is Perfumer's Apprentice or Perfumer's World. Perfumer's World ships to most countries, so if you're not in the US, you can always try perfumersworld.com. Pell Wall is the UK one that's pretty decent as well. Perfume World, yeah, like what Raheem said, yeah, pretty good price and pretty quick. I agree. They're solid. You can buy by the gram. You can buy just a little bit or a lot. Yeah, I agree totally. So yeah, so we're letting this stuff mix now, and then we will get a little whiff. Oh, I love it. Dude, it's almost like Nutella. It's because we added that Choco Van, right? Dude, it's powerful though. So yeah, even though again, you guys saw we're using this at 1%, and you know, we diluted it already a good amount, but it is powerful. It's like Nutella, but a little bit more leaning towards the nuttiness of it. It's, dude, and it's sweet and it's woody, but the wood is in the background. I think it's very unisex. This is great. This is unisex in the sense of like, what's another one? Like Baby Cat, YSL Baby Cat, right? Yeah, it's vanilla. Yeah, it's sweet, but it's not feminine, you know? Like anyone can wear that, right? By the Fireplace for men, it's sweet and it's woody. Same with this one, but I think it is pretty, yeah. 1 million golden oud. So I have 1 million elixir and I have 1 million, but I actually don't have 1 million golden oud. Let me look that up. 1 million golden oud. I appreciate anybody who's been here the whole time for sticking with me. It's been an hour and 19 minutes. That's crazy. Oh yeah, golden oud. No kidding. 4.2 stars. Yeah, woody, leathery, spicy. This looks good. I always love seeing the recommendations that you guys send though in all the comments and stuff, because half of the fragrances that I bought is literally because of you guys. So I appreciate you all. Yeah, okay, so saffron, nutmeg. Oh yeah. Almost like it's pushing towards sort of that more Middle Eastern style. The saffron and oud, the balsam and patchouli, sandalwood, leather, cedarwood, labdanum. This sounds good. This sounds smooth. This sounds like you're like $1,000,000, you know what I mean? Yeah, really unusual, alluring fragrance. Okay, I'm gonna put this in my like wants on Fragrantica. Do you guys ever use that? I have my like I want it. So I'm gonna add that to I want it. That's sick. Okay. Well, I'm gonna bottle these. I mean, this is what I made here. So this is the finished product. Very happy with it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this live. You know, thanks for joining for another live. I know these are always so chaotic, dude. Um, they're so super chaotic because I'm like doing everything. But yeah, yeah. Oh, Bella Vita luxury. Yeah, Kamra. Luxury honey oud. You know what? I actually know about that. And it's so funny because when I started my fragrance brand, Vita Bella, I was like, this brand popped up. Legit, it didn't exist before. It popped up like, I forget when it started popping up, like a month or two later. And I had looked because I was like, dude, am I going to get screwed? Anyway, yeah, it's so similar to my name, but should be fine. You came across as a gentleman, a true gentleman. It's appreciated. Yeah, I appreciate you, Martin. I appreciate you guys tuning in. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. Bye-bye, y'all.